It is a question, a serious foreign policy question, about whether Iran will be stopped from developing a nuclear weapon. And we have added into this conversation the decision of Congress as to whether they approve the President's treaty. That doesn't often happen, but it will in this case. And we have to look at the possibility that Congress will reject the Iran treaty. Even if the President vetoes it, there is still a question as to whether Congress would override that veto. And we have to ask ourselves what happens if this Iran agreement comes to an end. Military action. Some form of military action. One of the senators on the other side of the aisle assured us 4 days. We'll take care of the Iranian nuclear problem in 4 days. He wasn't here when we were told the war in Iraq would last 2 weeks. 4,844 American lives later, tens of thousands injured, trillions of dollars spent. That war ended with a result that none of us really view as a success for American foreign policy. Now we face that same question. Those who would reject the Iranian agreement have a responsibility to come to this floor and explain what happens next. Yesterday, we called a meeting. I asked the ambassadors from the 5 nations that joined us in the negotiations with Iran to come meet with members of the Senate on the Democratic side. We had the ambassador from Russia, the ambassador from China, the ambassador from the United Kingdom, and the deputy chiefs of mission from Germany and France. And about 30 Democratic senators gathered to ask questions in a completely off-the-record, informal atmosphere. And the first question that was asked was, what happens if Congress rejects this Iranian agreement? What happens the next day? What is the next step? They said the notion that we'll sit back down at the table with the Iranians, in the words of one of these ambassadors, is far-fetched. We have spent 35 years bringing Iran to this table. These nations joined us in an effort to stop Iranians from developing a nuclear weapon. These nations are satisfied that what we have put together is an agreement and a treaty, that is verifiable.